Namaste all. Welcome to your practice. Thank you for tuning in. Today's practice is part of the Min Arogya Series. It's a beginner friendly practice where we focus on small moves that create a lot of freedom within your physical practice and just within everyday life. Always remembering to work within your comfortable limits. No pressure or force. Coming in as far as you're comfortable. Ever feel like you've gone too far, you can always come back a step. Within the practice, at the beginning of the practice even, we'll work through a few rounds of the resonance breathing. The intention is an even inhale and exhale in and out through the nose, working towards the suggested final count of 5, but you can be at any of the counts before that, noting just going as far as you can comfortably maintain an inhale exhale. If you notice pressure around the head, around the eyes, around the chest, shortness of breath, this is a suggestion you've gone a little too far with your count and it's necessary to build your practice with an earlier count. Be in whichever position is best for you to begin your practice. That may be lying down if you find it challenging to maintain a seated position, particularly to focus on your breath additionally. A seated position if that is accessible. Sit as tall as you can if you're seated. Lying down position, make yourself comfortable. Adopting a hands gesture, particularly if you're in a seated position, a mudra if you find it helpful. But no matter where you are, eyes closed, mouth closed. And as you come to your practice, just take a few moments to create a little space around it. Space for yourself. And within this space that you're endeavouring to create for yourself, it's a space of non-resistance. You're not trying to push away any thoughts. Instead, we're just encouraging a shift of the awareness and the focus. As you do so by becoming aware of the physical body. Note how the physical body feels, if it feels good, if it feels in tune, or if you feel any points that are sticky throughout the body, any tension. Making a similar inquiry through the condition of your mind. With this attuned awareness, we softly become conscious of the breath. Just experience the breath for a moment. Note how it effortlessly flows in and out through the nose. And then knowing that you can always remain here, this is beautiful work. But if all is well, mentally preparing for a few rounds of resonance breathing, that even inhale and exhale in and out through the nose towards your comfortable limits, but no pressure or force. Breathing in, 2, breathing out, 2. Breathing in, 2, breathing out, 2. Breathing 3, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, breathing in, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, breathing in, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, breathing 4, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, breathing 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and continue. Noting your body's physiological response to the breath. No pressure on the chest, no strain around the eyes. If you're fighting for the longer count, please don't force. Come back a step. Shorter count builds your practice beautifully. Build that resonance between the breath. If your mind begins to wander, being patient, each time to softly bring it back. Return to lengthening the breath. At the end of your next exhale, no rush to arrive there. Release the effort upon the breath. And just return to witnessing, just like the start of your practice. Witness the condition of the body. Witness the condition of the mind. Any shift. If you're seated, I'll encourage you to maintain as you are. If you're lying down, no rush. Just gently begin to stir. Make your way to one side, and when there's no presence of dizziness, mindfully come up to any seated variation. Namaskara mudra, if it's comfortable for you, palms to press as you take a moment to set intention, a sankalpa or dedication for your practice. Release your hands. Chin works towards your chest, and a few gentle blinks, opening of the eyes. Namaste. Releasing your hands. Maintaining a cross-legged position if you are there. If that is challenging for you, your legs can be out in front as necessary, or you can be propped up on something underneath you as required. Hand support as you need to. If comfortable, your hands will rest closer to your knees. And we'll just allow the breath to flow in now through the nose as you begin to make rotations through the whole of the torso in one direction. The intention is you're moving from the hips up, and the whole of the torso moves together. Keep the spine straight as you make those circles, those rotations, so you're not rounding through the spine. Keep the spine long. Work from the hip. Smaller circles can progress to bigger circles, increasing the diameter if all is responding well. Keeping both sides of the bum fairly grounded. Beautiful. And changing direction. Begin your inquiry in the opposite direction with smaller rotation. You note the response, and little by little you begin to build towards bigger rotation if all is responding well. Beautiful. And returning to center, completing your current rotation. You're welcome to sweep your legs around to the side to come front onto all fours. If it's successful, raise the knees higher. Heels tuck under a little further. Raise tall on the hands and the knees. Unravel your legs. Then bring your knees and your feet together and sit tall back in Vajrasana, the thunderbolt pose. As always, if this presents a challenge to maintain, you could tuck your toes, then sit back on the heel, or play around being high on your knees or any seated variation, whichever is best for you. Bend the right elbow close to the body, your shoulder, elbow and wrist in a straight line. Recognize if your arm is rotating internally. Can you keep it in a more of a neutral position? Drop the palm to face down. With the left hand or some of the fingers, grab the right little finger and draw the finger down. The right palm is dropping down, so there's a stretch and you're extending along the wrist and you're drawing the right little finger down. Regress onto the ring finger. Middle finger, can you keep that shoulder, elbow and wrist in a line, or is the arm tending to come in? Index finger. All four fingers together. Allow the breath to flow. Release the four fingers, the right palm faces in, the thumb is up. You grab the thumb with the left hand. Without moving at the wrist, just softly draw the thumb back. And begin to shift it slightly side to side. Beautiful. Releasing the right thumb. Reflip the right palm to face the ceiling and then make a fist. Grab the right forearm with the left hand. The intention is to keep the forearm steady. Zero movement through the forearm as you intend to move through the wrist. We'll encourage coordination with the breath, so as you inhale, make a full rotation. Slower than you think, and as you exhale, full rotation. 3 rounds. Once you finish 3, changing direction. If there's any degree of movement through the forearm, if it shifts from side to side, or if it turns from side to side rather, it's an indication you need to make a rotation that is smaller, so just wrist movement. Beautiful. Once you've completed through your wrist, release the right hand. Bend the left elbow, shoulder, elbow, wrist in a line. The palm faces up. Drop the palm, my apologies, palm drops down so it faces front. Grab the left little finger now. Drawing it down. Allow breath to flow into your ring finger. And notice where you feel it at the base of the finger, maybe moving up through the center of the palm into your middle finger. Is the arm turning in? Can you keep it in more central position? Into the index finger. All four fingers together, gently draw down, no pressure on the front of the wrist, so the side that's facing downward. Releasing the four fingers, the palm to face in, the left thumb is up. Grab the left thumb lightly with the right hand, drawing it back. Breathe. And side to side. Never moving into pain, don't fight. Beautiful, release the left thumb, breathe, turning the palm to face up, then make a fist. Grabbing the left forearm with the right hand, now you keep it nice and steady and moving through the wrist. You move with your breath, it's a mindful, intentional movement. 3 full rotations in one direction without disturbing the forearm. 3 in the opposite direction. Take the time. Beautiful. Completing the third round, release the left hand. Shift your weight a little front so you can tuck your toes and sit back in the heels if that's accessible, or maintaining the variation that you're in if required. Extend the arms up in front, shoulder height if you can, flip the palms to face up. As you inhale, bend at the elbows as much as you can, flip the palms to face the sky. As you exhale, straighten the arms. Inhale, bend at the elbows as much as you can, keeping elbow to shoulder in line. Flip the palms to face down. Inhale, extend the arms. Exhale, bend at the elbows as much as you can, flip the palms to face up. Inhale, extend the arm. Beautiful. Release the hands, raise tall in your knees if you're not already there. Take your knees to be as wide as your hip, if not a little wider. Any discomfort on your knees, please do double over the mat as you need to. Hands on the hips. If comfortable, take the hands behind. You can interlay, you can grab, my apologies, the wrist, the forearm or the elbow if it feels good. Full rotation to the neck with the chin drop down towards the chest. Smaller movements as you need to, don't force. With the chin down, glide it past the right collarbone to the shoulder. Then lift the chin to whichever degree is comfortable for you, but no lifting of the chest. Rotate through to your left once you've elevated the chin. Then drop it down past left shoulder, collarbone, base of throat. Continue to your right. Past the shoulder, lifting the chin. Rotating through to your left shoulder, down past the collarbone, base of throat. Reversing directions to your left, down past the collarbone, shoulder, lift the chin. Draw a circle on the ceiling. To your right, down past the shoulder, collarbone, throat. Continue through. Past the shoulder, lift the chin, chest is steady, just a head and neck movement. Dropping down past the shoulder, collarbone, base of throat. Lift your head so the gaze is straight ahead. Release your arms, then tuck your toes, then sit back on your heels, then shift your weight front. All fours, Vajraswasa, the tiger breathing setup. Shoulders are over the wrist, fingers are well spread, so notice the good distance between your hands. Your shoulder distance apart. Quite often we'll have the hands a little closer. Good distance. Your knees are underneath your hips initially, then take your knees wider, so your wrists, your knees and toes in a straight line. Really spread the fingers. Bring your awareness into your arms. Often our points of our elbows are pointing to the outer side, which is a habitual state that we're in if we're doing a work on a computer, for instance. We want our elbows to be pointing backwards. So without disturbing the hands, middle fingers pointing front, can you move through the bicep, point the elbow point back towards the knees? And we'll try and endeavour to maintain this as we work. We'll begin to shift the weight back and front. But think small distances. Can you keep the points of the elbows pointing backward? Can you keep the shoulder blades slightly drawn down towards the hip as you? Beautiful. Shift the weight side to side. Beautiful, back to centre. If it's achievable for you, turn your fingers in towards each other. Although it's quite challenging or almost impossible to have the elbows pointing backward in this instance, still work with the external rotations if you're trying to turn your bicep up. Then shift your weight front and shift your weight back. The breath flows. Shift your weight side to side. Can you keep the chin in a mild double chin? So you're looking straight down, but you're drawing your face away from the ground. Can you keep your ribs a little elevated up? Beautiful. Come to rest with this direction, with the hands in the side to side. Can you turn your hands firmly out to either side? And can you externally rotate through the shoulders here as best you can? And begin to shift your weight back and shift your weight front. Notice the reaction in your wrist, your shoulder, and notice the reaction in your shoulder blade as you shift back and front. Still in a double chin. Start shifting your weight side to side. Beautiful, back to center. Now you can turn your hands back to any degree. The event intention is fingers pointing back towards the knees, and each side can be different, so don't fight for equal depth. No matter which side you've arrived at, can you shift your weight back to front, or what degree you turn out your hands even. Beautiful, side to side. Super. Back to center. Turn your hands back to front, facing front. Bring your knees and your feet together. If it's accessible for you, sit tall back on your heels, but you can adopt any variation that's required for you. From here, hinge slightly forward from the hip, so it's not lower back, hinging forward from the hip, and placing the tips of the fingers, then the heel of the palm, either side of the knees. But you're working towards, and really spread the thumb. Now you can be here, but if all is well, keep the tips of the fingers grounded. And you want to lift the heel of the palm halfway off the ground. You want to peel it off the ground halfway between grounded and from being vertical. So recognize where that is for you. Put a small bend in the elbow. Once you keep the heel of the palm, once you arrive about halfway off the ground, you want to push your fingers into the mat as if you want to push the mat away from you frontward. Bending the elbow. Can you have your elbow, instead of working closer into the body, can you have your shoulder, elbow and wrist working in a straight line vertical? Keep breathing. No flat. Beautiful. Then softly release the hands, make fists and release a few times. Super. Returning, raising the weight up a little bit, so you can raise in the knees, tuck the toes, then sit tall back in the heels. Take your arms down in front. I think moving from the shoulder will be perceived as moving from the bicep. Extra challenge, arms work in the opposite direction, allowing the breath to flow. Beautiful. This angle feels good. You come out to the side, still pointing downward, moving through the bicep. Beautiful. Still good shoulder height. Beautiful. Pausing here for a moment. Releasing the arms down, shoulders free. Still good raise tall in your knees and untuck the toes behind you. If you have a challenge in your shoulders, fatigue in your shoulders, maybe your hands are by your thighs. If you're mindfully applying arms up in front, the challenge is to try and prevent arms coming away from each other or bending at the elbow. We'll move with the breath. As you inhale, retract your shoulders back, then elevate up. Exhale, front and down. Inhale back and up. Exhale, front and down. Inhale back and up. Exhale, front and down. Pause there for a moment. Inhale, really elevate up from that point. Exhale, retract back and down. Inhale, front and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, front, up. Exhale, back and down. Release the hands, shoulders free. Re-tucking the toes behind you so you can sit the bum back in the heels. Then hands front onto all fours. Setting up, shoulder over the wrist as best you can. Fingers well spread. Your knees as wide as your wrist. Toes pointed. Can you externally rotate through the shoulders as best you can? All is well without bending the elbows. Allow your chest to drop down in between the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades passively come together. As you inhale, pushing out. As you exhale, allow the chest to drop down in between the shoulders. Experience shoulder blades come together. Inhale, pushing out. Exhale, dropping down to the shoulder. Inhale, pushing out. Super. Note that you can rest as you need to. Feels good. Keep the shoulder in the alignment that it is in and the elbows pointing back towards the feet. A few rounds of tiger breathing, a full variation. As you inhale, arch through your lower back. Feel your middle back, the upper back shoulder blades draw down the back, slightly lift the head. As you exhale, around through the lower back, push away the mat lightly, middle back, upper back, then release the head. Inhale, arch. Exhale, around. Inhale, arch. Exhale, around. Inhale, arch. Exhale, around, join the belly, release the head, be there for a moment. Beautiful. Next inhale, come back to an easy spine. I know it's challenging, but we'll build little by little. If it's comfortable within your practice, maintain it here. Elbows pointing back towards your feet. Furthermore, look at your ribs. Are your ribs dropping down? Can you draw your ribs a little back? Stabilizing through the whole of the rib cage. I will intend to maintain this stabilization through the rib cage as you work a little further through a twist. Choose a depth that's appropriate for you. As you inhale, maybe you extend the right arm up. Any degree is welcomed. As you exhale, you're treading the right underneath the left. Bring your right wrist to sit behind the left wrist for a moment to ground the elbow. Note where your ribs are. Keep the ribs drawn up here. As you continue to exhale, thread the right arm further through. Any depth is welcomed. Perhaps the shoulder, fingertips now ground. If the right side of the head is grounded, there's no pressure on your neck. Zero pressure on the neck. Keep the left palm lightly pushed into the mat and the ribs are drawn back. If the ribs aren't engaged, if they are not slightly drawn up, feel pressure on the side of the neck often. Breathe. Beautiful. Pressurize the left palm as you inhale, untread the right. You can ground it immediately, but if it's comfortable in your part of your practice, extend it up. As you exhale, ground the right. Elbows pointing back. Ribs are slightly drawn up. As you inhale, extend the left up now. As you exhale, thread it through. You're thinking left wrist behind the right for a brief moment. Ground the elbow. Further practice, continue to tread through in the sliding. Shoulder to fingertips, the eventual intention to ground. The left side of the head also grounded. But draw the ribs back. Pressurize the right palm into the mat. The right elbow is still a little upward. Breathe. Feel. Beautiful. Inhale back. Ground the left hand or send it up. Choose which is best. As you exhale, ground the left hand. Shoulders over the wrist, the fingers are well spread. Your round body push over your brief moment ago. The ribs are slightly drawn up. Your gaze is down, you're drawing your face away from the ground. And as you exhale, without bending at the elbow to any degree, can you allow your chest to drop down between the shoulder blades? Feel shoulder blades work toward each other. As you inhale, can you push out? Really push away the ground. Create the space. Exhale, dropping down. Inhale, pushing away. Exhale, dropping down. Inhale, pushing away. Exhale, dropping down, and be there for a moment if you can, but checking with your elbows, are they bending to any degree? If so, perhaps you need to come back up a little further to where you can work with straighter arms. Draw the face away from the ground. Sternum is drawn up. Beautiful. Inhale, push away. Bring your knees and your feet together. Tuck your toes under. Sit tall back on your heels for a moment. You can be high on your knees if you need to. Beautiful. Raising tall on your knees if you're not already there. On top of the toes. With care, hand support as you need to. Step 1 foot front. As far front, a good distance front rather to where your knee is over the ankle or before, and the heel to the toe is grounded, so the heel isn't raised. Then tuck the back toes. Push the feet away from each other and smoothly come to standing. Take the time. Coming up whichever way is necessary for you. Once you're up, turn to the long edging of your mat and come to Tadasana. Feet together, toes and heels to touch. Encourage your hands to come to the sides of the body, so I'm not resting on the thighs, a little bit away. Gaze is front, chin is back. Let's send your awareness all the way into your feet. Share the weight evenly in all 4 directions. Big toe together and the heel together if you can. Now I know often you spend a lot of time throughout the day on your feet, but within that time, are you conscious from moment to moment how you're sharing the weight? Often it can be overbearing, unconsciously on one side or the other a lot throughout the day, or toes and heels. Can you share it even in all four directions now? Can you truly ground yourself? Breathe. Beautiful. Now you can remain as you are. It's beautiful work. The fall as well without disturbing much. As you inhale, take the arms out to the side. Shoulder height, flip the palm. If it's within your practice, maintain the arms in this lining till they come along with the ears. Align with the ears and gaze slightly up. They can be lower, however, if required. As you exhale, release out to the side. Shoulder height, flip the palms face down. Bottom of the breath coming back close to resting near the thighs. Inhale, raise it. Feel that even weight in the feet as you raise your arms. Exhale, release. That grounding through the feet. Inhale, raise. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Releasing your hands to be in front of your thighs. A few gentle rounds of ankle stretches. As you raise up, trying to prevent pushing your hips front, using momentum. Keep your hip back so you're utilizing the calf muscle. Chin, mild double chin. As you inhale, raise the arms to any degree if you can in line with the ears, and simultaneously raise on the toes. Exhale, release. Inhale, elevating up. Exhale, release. Inhale, raise the arms, feels good, extend on your toes. Exhale, release, focus on your point and maintain the balance. Inhale, elevating up. And all is well, you maintain it there for a moment. Hunch your shoulders up to your ears if you can, then allow your shoulders to drop down from that point. Can you keep your sternum a little back? I know it's challenging. Mindfully apply. Keep breathing, work towards. Exhale, release your arms, simultaneously release your heels. Shoulders free. Feet wider now, so you're thinking 3.5 to 4 foot apart is your bench intention, quite a generous distance. Heels are in line and the feet are working to parallel, sternum is back. If all is well, take your arms out to either side, shoulder height, hunch your shoulders up. Then release your shoulders down. Chin in a mild double chin. And we'll just maintain it here for a few breaths. Just a static hold in the posture, but often we have a lot of weakness, a lot of tension through our shoulders rather than the weakness accompanies this tension. Just by simply holding our arms up encourages beautiful strength and stability through the shoulder. But don't fight. Always remembering challenges are welcomed, but no force. Keep breathing. Beautiful, soft exhale, release the hands, the leg rolling out the shoulder one direction and then the other direction, shoulders free. If your shoulders are feeling particularly fatigued, please keep your hands on your thighs. If all is well, we'll raise one arm at a time. As you inhale, raise your right arm up. Flip the palm to shoulder height. Bring the arm in line with your ear, but the shoulders drawing down the back. Your ribs are back. As you exhale, you fold to your left from the waist. And you maintain it there for a few breaths. You note that your hips, they're working in a straight line across. Similar with the shoulders, mindful you're not dropping the head. Encourage strength and stability through the neck by keeping the head at mid-level as you fold. A few steady breaths. Inhale smoothly back. Exhale, release the arm if you've chosen to raise. Inhale the left. Shoulder height with the palm. Line with the ear, shoulder down, ribs back, exhale, fold to your right. No weight on the right side, the hand gently rests. Inhale, smoothly back. Exhale, release the left. Shoulder height with the palm down. Shoulders free. Walk or step your feet back together, whichever variation is necessary for you. Turning towards the front of your mat. We'll come a foot's distance or so from the front of the mat, towards the short edge of your mat. Feet shoulder distance or wider. It's a straight-legged forward fold. We're conscious if you have any challenge in the back of the body, a bend in the knees perhaps, and lessen the depth you come in. Feels good, you can explore depth with straighter legs. Hands will brace on your thighs. They will actively take weight. Push the bum a little back so hip is behind the heel. You'll feel an aromatic hinge from the hip. Sternum is held back. You keep the length in the spine. You fold front to the point that you can experience the legs maintained straight, and also checking into the lumbar region. So your lower back. But where does the point of the lower back begins to round? Can you just be before this point? And be there for a moment. Mindful you're not jutting the chin front. Can you have your gaze straight down so your face is facing the ground directly down? Then draw your face away from the ground in a mild double chin. Beautiful. Then bend the knees slightly if you haven't already done so. Reaching your hands to the ground if it's accessible. Bend your knees as you need to, fingertips of the palm, so that's shoulder distance. Middle finger pointing front. Can you externally rotate your shoulders here? So the points of the elbows are pointing back. We'll endeavour to maintain that as you walk your feet towards the back of the mat. Good distance between the hands and the feet. Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward facing dog. There can be a bend in the knees as you need to. Maintaining beautiful length in the spine is always your priority here, but it feels good. There's the space in the hamstrings to straighten the legs a little. The crown of your head is pointing directly between your hands, and really spread your fingers. If it's very comfortable without disturbing much, keep the toes where they are, but bend the right knee slightly and stretch your left heel in the direction of the ground, and the ball of the left foot is dragging the mat backward. Beautiful. Bend the left knee lightly as the ball of the right foot drags the mat backward and the right heel works towards the ground. No force in the shoulders. Keep the ribs slightly drawn. Base of pelvic and below the navel is active. Beautiful. Bend both knees slightly, gaze is front. Come front in whichever way is necessary. Little practice. Right knee, right wrist. Shin diagonal. Left shin stacks on top. Then sitting back. Just play with your practice. Extend the legs front. Come down in front in whichever way is necessary for you. Taking the legs front, just like the start of your practice in a seated position, you can be propped up with something if it's necessary, or you can have your hands behind you and leaning back. But if you're leaning back, notice your shoulders aren't up to your ears. Push away the ground so you have length in the spine and space between shoulder and ear. Awareness comes into your feet and encourage just moving through the toes. Turning the toes in and releasing the toes. Beautiful. Releasing the toes as you inhale, draw the toes back towards you, you're actively pushing your heels away. As you exhale, you're pointing your toes, pointing the feet. Inhale, draw back towards you and push the heel. Exhale, pointing the feet. Inhale, back towards you, pushing the heel. Exhale, pointing the feet. Keep the feet pointed, allow the breath to flow, but windshield wipe your feet from side to side, so heels remain where they are. Beautiful. Back to center, push the heel as you inhale. Bring your feet together just like you're moving through the wrist near the start of your practice. Move with the breath for a full rotation. So as you inhale, you rotate the feet, rotate the ankle in one direction. And as you exhale, a full rotation. 3 rounds. Take the time. Changing direction once you've completed 3 rounds. Move with your breath. How slow and steady can you move? Feel the reaction and the response of the ankles. Beautiful. Back to center. Take your feet to be as wide as your hips, if not a little wider, then bend at the knees. Feet grounded firmly. Outer edges, inner edges, the toes and the heels. If necessary, you could be hand support behind, pushing away the ground so the spine is lengthened. If it's comfortable for you, you can grab the shins, or the thighs rather, and the shins. Or maybe you hook underneath the thighs and you clasp opposite wrist or forearm. The intention is awareness into your toes. Keep the base of the toes grounding, but as you inhale, raise all of your toes. As you exhale, ground. Inhale, raise all of your toes. Exhale, ground. Inhale, raise all of your toes, and we'll keep all toes up, except big toes, exhaling to ground. Inhale, re-raise big toes. Exhale to ground. Inhale, raise it up. On the exhale, second to little toe to ground. Inhale up. Exhale, second to little toe to ground. Inhale up. Next exhale, big toes and little toes to ground. The 3 lads between remain elevated. Be there for a moment. Keep breathing. If it's challenging with both feet, work with 1 foot at a time. Beautiful. Ground all of your toes. Push your toes into the mat and lift your arches. Super. All is well here. Bring the right foot smoothly underneath the left leg. The intention is bring it outside edge of the hip. You can lean to your right as you need to. Then bring the left leg around and you can place the left shin over the arch of the right foot as best you can. Both knees drawn. You can sweep your legs aside in whichever way is necessary if comfortable coming to this variation. Right hand right side and behind, the left hand over the thigh. As you inhale, lift, but draw your ribs a little back. As you exhale, just a slight twist to your right. If comfortable, the gaze follows. Mindful you're not lifting your chest and dropping the head back to mimic depth. Keep the ribs back and down. Chin is in a mild double chin. You twist through the torso from here, then the neck follows. Beautiful. Inhale, smoothly back to center. Releasing the left leg back out in front. Releasing the right leg back out in front. Sweep the left leg underneath the right now. Heel outside the hip as best you can. You can lean to your left as necessary. Then trying to stack the right shin on top of the left arch. Both knees to ground. Walk the left hand in a little closer as you can. Left hand little left side and behind. Right hand look hooks over. Inhale, lift. Ribs are back. Exhale and twist through the waist. Twist through the torso. Twist through the neck. Be there and breathe. Note that the left shoulder is coming up next to the ear. Push the left hand into the mat. Create that spray, stabilizing through the shoulder. Beautiful. Inhale smoothly back. Returning the right foot out in front and returning the left foot out in front. Feet are as wide as your hips. I'll encourage you to come to the back edge of your mat. So you're turning towards the short edge and shifting towards the back of your mat as best you can. We'll maintain the alignment we're in. The intention here is taking the hands behind. The fingers can be pointing away from you. The feet are as wide as your hips and not a little wider. And then walk your feet a little towards you, but the feet are firmly grounded. Recognize your shoulders here. If you were to effortlessly and passively just come to this posture as you are, the shoulders, the chest would collapse, the shoulders will roll in and come close to your ear. What I'll encourage you to do is draw your shoulder a little back, then actively push away the ground. You'll feel a lift in the chest, a lift in the spine, and the space between the shoulders and the ear. Now you can be here. This is beautiful work. But if all is well, you maintain this engagement. Feet pressing, arms pushing away, and you lift the bum a slight degree off the ground. Chin in a mild double chin and the gaze front. Can you be here for a moment? Really spread the fingers wide. Feel the firmness of the feet. Feel the strength of the shoulders as you push the hands into the ground. And just a few steady breaths. Beautiful. Now you can be as you are. You could ground the bum and shift front if it's raised, if you find the next position challenging, but fall as well. Right foot, left hand. Right, oh my apologies, right foot, and the left hand is the left foot, and the right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot, right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot, and the right hand. Keep going until you've arrived at the front of your mat. Once you've arrived, ground the bum. Coming to on your back whichever way is necessary. If comfortable as you inhale, just a little rock back. Once you've arrived, a little rolling side to side. Just a gentle rolling side to side. Bring your hands on top of your knees, keeping your knees together if you can, or working toward. Make circles to your knees in one direction. And then the other direction. Beautiful, back to center. Feels good as you exhale. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Grab the legs, head towards the knee of comfort for neck. And be there. A few steady breaths, nice tight ball. Breathe. Inhale, release the head. Release the legs. Release and rest for a few short moments in Shavasana as you come to the end of your practice. Readjusting the body if there's any uncomfortable areas. Adjust as is necessary to arrive at a position of ease. Eyes closed and the mouth closed. As you come to the end of your practice, your intention is to create space, to absorb any changes that have been brought about by your practice, and to really settle, to become steady. Within this space that you're granting yourself, know that there's nothing required of you. There's nowhere you need to be, there's nothing you need to do, there's nothing you need to achieve or to worry about. Being here is enough. And within this beautiful freedom, you take a moment to notice your body's response to your practice. You do so at the very crown of the head, where you notice any sensation, any vibration, any pulsing. You allow your awareness to smoothly diffuse down through your scalp and to enter the ears. To move towards the center line of the face through the eyes, the nose and the tongue. Descending the chin into the throat, your awareness extends out through your shoulder blades till it reaches your shoulders and descends the arms through elbow, wrist, finger. Your awareness moves through the center of the chest and extends out to the right and left of the chest, down the center of the body and extends out through the ribs into the belly. Your awareness sweeps around the back of the body and it begins to descend down each vertebrae of the spine, to the cervical spine of the neck, the thoracic spine, through the mid-spine, and down through the lumbar region, that gentle arch of the lower back, until your awareness arrives at the triangular shape of the sacral region at the base of the spine. Your awareness extends from the sacral region throughout the whole of the pelvis, down through the thighs, knees, shin bones, ankles, soles of feet, tops of feet, tips of toes, the whole body. Become aware of your whole body. And within this whole body awareness, note the stillness and note the rest that accompanies the stillness. Be with this rest for a moment. Whole of the body is still. Whole of the body is rested. And as you allow the body to remain within this position of rest, but send your awareness beyond the body. As it extends beyond, it begins to return to a more everyday state of awareness. An everyday state of awareness begins to influence your breath, being fuller, to being conscious, as it stirs the body and toes, fingers and neck. The feet come together as the right arm extends up and over, the left hand to the body, folding the left knee. When you're ready and feel steady, roll to your right side. Pushing up, any seated variation being welcomed, eyes closed. Coming to the end of your practice, you take a moment to note any difference to the beginning of your practice. So, if you draw your palms together, rubbing your palms, generating some heat. Place your hands lightly over the eyes and extend them massage towards the face. Take your hands a small distance away from your eyes and gently blink the eyes open, gaze into the palms. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you had a good practice. I look forward to connecting with you with your next practice, whether that will be online or whether that will be in person. Thank you so much.